Hello and welcome to Against the Storm, patch 0.45, the Modifiers update. In this update, we have a couple of major changes being made to the game, the first of which is the one where the names derive from. There are now 8 new world map modifiers inspired by the community. There are many, many more that are pending in the potential future, but these were the ones that were the most impactful and the most interesting to add, possibly also the simplest to add, or at least the ones that kind of fit the easiest, but definitely that. As well as the second major change is a huge change to the trade route UI. So we're going to go ahead and talk about some of these changes in the system, in the systems, and then of course we will return to playing a town under this new update starting tomorrow, as relative to when this video is released. So the 8 new world map modifiers are, I don't think I'm going to read through them all, at least all the details of them all, but the first one is called Frosts, where causes all hearths to have a smaller radius due to the cold. Abandoned Settlement, which by the way is different from Ruined Settlement that we've had all along, and in fact Ruined Settlement has been renamed to just Ruins. So Abandoned Settlement is you start with a small destroyed settlement in your initial glade. Untamed Wilds, Land of Greed, Petrified Necropolis, Gathering Storm, Overgrown Library, and Ominous Presence. And of course, these are added to the daily expedition pool, and they can also be selected in the training expeditions. By the way, if you would like to read the detail on any of those new modifiers, take a look at the patch notes either on Steam or on EremiteGames.com website, where they always have the patch notes in detail for every major update. Beyond that, they have made a few changes relating to, or a change relating to modifiers. A few changes. There are now many more modifiers available on the map. So we'll see a higher density of points of interest on the map, and therefore we should be able to find more modifiers more easily. They've also rebalanced the modifier spawn rates so they're more equally distributed, which means hopefully we won't get a map that has, 5 of the same kind and not really any others, or so much fewer of any others, for example. Beyond that, they've rebalanced a bunch of orders, as you can see here, as mentioned here on the update card in the screen. Many orders have been rebalanced. They've tried to make some of them a little more tempting that were kind of meh before, and they've also made some a little bit more, difficult when they were a little too trivial. Many orders. I didn't count them all, but it's a lot. The Trade UI, as I mentioned, is one of the other major changes in this update. The Trade UI now just lists all trade offers in one list, rather than having each town need to be clicked on to see their offers. This is great because it saves you a bit of time going through the Trade UI to find and compare all of those. Beyond that, you can now buy. They've moved the buy button for buying new slots to the side of the list, excuse me. They also removed the biome name from which the town is situated, which I don't really understand why that was necessary or even useful before, but maybe I missed something in the way that worked. But if you still want to know it, you can find it in the tooltip, mousing over the town name. You can also hide trade offers that you are unable to afford in the trading window. There's a checkbox for that. There's also a new alerts option in the options menu to enable the trade route completion notification even if autocollect is on, which would help me if I turn autocollect on. That way I remember I leave those notifications there and then can remember to go and set up new trades the next season, for example. The trade route button on the HUD will now show 2 numbers, the trade routes ready to be collected on the left, and the trade routes that can be started right away on the right. So now we can also see where we might have something we can do with the trades without having to open up the trade UI and look around. Another fairly significant change is now when you're looking at a retroactive perk, whether that's a cornerstone or whatever, you'll be able to see what the immediate bonus of that is, like what the retroactive effect of those perks are, which is really great because, like, I don't remember how many of something that I have or that I did already, so having that, be able to look at that is really useful. There is now a delete confirmation dialog for all deletes except for roads and decorations. However, if you want to bypass it, simply holding down the shift modifier key when deleting will bypass the delete confirmation. Lots of wording changes on a few different forest mysteries and other things. I'm not going to read through all of those, but just note that there's a lot of wording changes to make them more straightforward and understandable. A whole host of bug fixes this time, mostly sort of typos and small-ish bugs. I don't know that I noticed any of them directly affecting me, but perhaps they fixed a bug with automatons not being affected by production boosting perks. So if you had an automaton that wasn't getting production boosted, now it should. And they've also spent some time on the game performance itself. They had some feedback that, perhaps the game seemed like it was getting slower with some of these newer updates. And so they have gone through and put in some performance updates, performance changes to the game to hopefully make it perform a bit better, especially on a variety of, the lower end of the variety of systems that people are playing on. And they have more planned, and they're going to push those to the experimental branch, as they always do, to make sure that they're good before they push them to the main branch. There's new music again, 2 new music tracks to the Scarlet Orchard, new sounds as well for Cursed Royal Woodlands, as well as for all 3 seasons, as well as Scarlet Orchard in the Clearance and Marshlands in the Storm. And then they've tweaked and balanced the volume levels of all ambient sounds in the game. And that's kind of it for this patch. It's not a small one by any means. Adding these new modifiers and the trade UI is really good, as well as some of those other changes too. But we're definitely going to jump in and hopefully experience some of this stuff in the next town, and then keep working through the next few updates until we get to the update where the new race is introduced. So that's it for now. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned on my channel for another town starting tomorrow. Bye for now.